What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another video today. Smash that like button, subscribe or comment. But let's get into this bald fade. So boom, I start out by doing a scalp analysis. I always say that by just picking the hair out. So he wanted to come down on his hair like real low to like wave limb. So I pop my 2-guard on, close, and I just start going with the grain. And I'm just making sure that I keep it real light, not heavy-handed, and just knock it down. So boom, I get my 1.5 and I close that. I do the same thing I just did with the 2-guard. All I'm doing is just knocking it down and cleaning it up. I don't go straight down the wave limb. You gotta see what his hair looked like before that. If it makes sense, you don't wanna you might gap him. So I just start with the 1, 2.5. All right, so boom, I get my babbleless trimmers. And I start by cutting his beard off. He didn't want his beard, so I cut that off. I start my guideline at like the end of his vertical bar, where it ends at, and I go straight across. I kind of stay in the middle because the fade gonna go up as you fade up. This is what it look like all the way around with the first guideline. So I get my wall seniors. Y'all know this is my go-to if y'all pay attention. I get the lever all the way open, and this gonna be my second guideline. All I'm doing is cutting through it, brushing as I'm making the guideline, so I know that it's straight and exposing where it's really laying and just working it. All right, so now that I got my second line in, I like to go ahead and get my bottom line out. So what I do is I close the lever halfway, and as that bottom line starts to fade out, I close it all the way, and then what I do is I work it all the way out. So boom, I get my 1-guard and I open the lever all the way, and this is gonna be my third guideline. I do the same exact thing that I did on the first guideline and the second guideline. All I'm doing is going up a 1/2 inch or an inch, and I'm just making sure I keep everything on one level and make sure all the hairs is laying down as I brush. All right, so now to get that bulk off the top of the fade, I get my 1/2-guard. I start with it open, and as I see what it do when it's open, I eventually close it. And I learned to go against the grain as I'm debulking because I don't want to make another guideline to make it look like a mohawk at the top of his head. You know what I mean? So all I'm doing is, and sometimes his hair might be growing different ways at the top of his hair. So I just, go with the hair. So boom, as I'm debulking, this is what it's looking like without getting that middle line out. You know what I mean? I'm still just going with the hair. Wherever the hair growing, I'm fading, I'm flipping. I'm just finessing at this point. I'm just trying to like fade it out. I ain't trying to force it out. That's one thing. I ain't trying to make another guideline. I'm not putting too much pressure on nothing. All I'm doing is using my mirrors and going against it. Not really. And I'm brushing it back down to where it's really laying, so I don't make it look like weird. But yeah, this is now I'm getting my middle line out. So with the middle line, what I do is I start off with my 1/2-guard halfway closed, and then I eventually close it like I did with the bottom line. And when I pop that off, and I open the lever all the way, and I use the corners of my lever to get that harsh line out, because sometimes the guard is not going to get the line all the way out because the hair might be too stiff. So I just take the guard off. So I noticed it still with some bulk at the top, and what I did was put my 1/2-guard back on, and I'm still working it out. I'm closing it and I'm opening it, and I'm kind of like shaping it in a way to where it's like it's cleaning the line out, but I'm not making another line at the top of his head. I'm really just brushing the hairs down, and I'm going against the grain using my corners. And when that don't work, I put my 1-guard open and I use my corners of that, and that should clean all the bulk from under that 1.5. That what the 1.5 didn't do, the 1-guard open should finish it up. So boom, this is what the fade looked like all the way around on both sides, without the detail work, but it's looking real blurry. So now I start my line. I start from the left side and I work it to the shape of his head all the way to the vertical bar. So as I start my line from middle to left, I do my vertical bar, and all I'm doing is tracing right now, and keeping it natural as possible. I'm not pushing them back, and yeah, I do the same exact thing to the other side. I work from middle to right, and I do the same thing to his vertical bar. I'm keeping it natural, and not doing too much. So boom, this is the final result. A high ball fade. I kept him real natural, no enhancements. I kept his line natural as possible to the shape of his head. And yeah, man, we still going. Y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe, man. I appreciate y'all.